I know a key part about Bleach are the Zanpakuto, and I really love this idea of a sword with a soul that complements its owner. But this thing got me thinking about what was the strongest Zanpakuto. We're not going to be talking about any one Zanpakuto from Squad 0 just because they're super OP. And you know I would have to choose Ichibei's sword. Man, I want to see that animated along with who I am about to name as the strongest Zanpakuto. I know this may come as a shock to you, but after really thinking about it, I really feel like Kisuke Urahara's Benihime takes the top prize. Yes, I know I put him as my number 5 at my best or worst captains, and this was mostly due to the fact he still wasn't a captain. Now hear me out. I know Kenpachi's sword, Nazarashi, is pure power, and Yamamoto's sword, Ryojinjaka, can burn everyone to ashes, but I feel like Benihime just takes the cake. Just think about it this way. Urahara is one of the smartest people in the Bleach universe, so smart Aizen had to get him out of the Soul Society, and his sword lets him restructure anything he wants. We only get to see a small taste of this power. Imagine if we got to see even more. Now, I want to explain why I chose Urahara over so many others. Starting out with Kenpachi, Kenny is pure power. We all know this. He is the man who acts of pure power, nothing else. So if Kenny was to fight someone like Mayuri, who plans 10 moves ahead even with Nazarashi's power, he may end up still losing. You can only power through for so long. Next, Yamamoto and Ryojinjaka. Yes, Ryujin is an amazing sword, and it can simply wipe anyone out you're fighting, but it can also kill your friends too. I will say Long Sword of the Remnant Flame South Great Burial ranks of the 10 trillion Fire Dead is super cool, and I wish we saw more of this sword. Come to think of it, during the Zanpakuto Rebellion arc, Yamamoto sealed himself and his sword away. Also, Ichigo and Zangetsu don't really have the battle experience as a team like Kenpachi, Yamamoto, or Urahara does. Ichigo is no doubt a super powerful Shinigami, but he is just not at Urahara level. Now, for those who don't know Urahara that much, he is the former Division 12 captain who was exiled when the Visors were created. He is the founder of the Research and Development Institute, where we see Mayuri lead. Urahara also created the Gigai, which is a body that allows Soul Reapers to be seen by the living. He just seems to be a goofy guy who is just out to have some fun, but in reality, he is one of, if not the most calculating characters out of all the characters in Bleach. Also, just throwing this out there, Urahara achieved Bankai in 3 days, something that takes most Soul Reapers years to do. It's not just the sword that is powerful, it's himself as well. Throughout the series, we see Urahara help out all the characters grow stronger and help in fights. He first comes off as this total goofball with little care, but it is hinted when Chad needs more training and Shinka wouldn't help out because Chad was too strong for that, meaning that a Bankai would need to help Chad grow stronger. At the mention of that, Urahara says that his Bankai is not good for training someone. This is a way to foreshadow what his Bankai does, and I want to say we don't get to see it for a long time, but what we do see is so absolutely terrifying, and I wish Kubo used his Bankai a bit more. Starting out with the Shikai, it's amazing how many abilities it has. In total, it has 7 different abilities, where most other swords only have 3. So he has 50% more abilities than most other Shinigami. He is able to adapt to use his sword to defend or to attack someone. Next, Benihime is the first ability I want to talk about. It's the one we see most in the series as it's one of his main attacks. Also, just for anyone who uses Viz, it's not Scream Red Princess, it is actually Sing Crimson Princess. This is an arcing attack that is a burst of crimson energy. This is basically an on-point blank Seto attack, a point blank Seto. This ability is shown off when he uses it to ward off Wonder Whis. This is the attack that actually caused Espada number 10, Yami Largo, to bleed, so just saying it's super strong. Another attack to use on Yami, or should I rather say defenses, is Chikasumi no Tate. This is Urahara's shield ability, which again Viz says it's Shield of the Blood Mist. It's not, its actual name is Blood Mist Shield. I don't know why Viz does this, but anyways. This shield seems only to need the sword to be pointed down at an angle, as shown in the anime when he uses it to save Ichigo from a one-armed Yami. This ability I rather like because it gives Urahara a bit of an advantage when it comes to plot, about how he's going to fight. Being able to create this shield to block attacks that is large enough to guard 3 people seems to be something powerful that can be helpful, and something we can't see in other Zanpakuto. Next we have Kamsoria, simply put, Razor. This is an attack we see used to cut the tentacles off Luppy, as he tries to kill Rangiku. No joke, I thought Rangiku was going to die until I saw that red flash, and I knew Urahara was going to come and save her, and boy was that fight good. But seeing Luppy have his tentacle cut off before we see Urahara come in with his other abilities to kick the Arankars back to the Waco Mundo was so enjoyable. Poor Yami, he ends up being destroyed by Urahara all the time. Just seems like Yami picked a fight with the wrong guy who honestly didn't use half of his power to fight him. Just saying that is a bit of a dick move. But the next move is Supani Benihime. Spurning Crimson Princess is just the biggest OP move, just saying. After Urahara gathers Reishi and draws a circle in the air, it allows him to cancel out anything that touches the point of the circle. Like, tell me how crazy that is, because that means he is able to just cancel out any attack of anyone whose attack touches his circle. Now we are moving on to the last two attacks, the first being Shinbaria Benihime, which is a net. This is fitting because it's called binding, and this creates a net that can trap someone in the net. We see this used on Aizen in the Fate Karakura Town arc, capture him in an attempt to give Ichigo time to take down Aizen. Just saying, Urahara could have taken out Aizen, but he let Ichigo do it, building a bridge between himself and the Soul Society as a whole, so that way Urahara will use that later on during the war arc. Hiyasabi Benihime Juzutsunagi is the final attack, and it's a very cool bomb attack. Fire playing Crimson Princess, beaded mesh, uses the net created by spurning to create explosions and a domino effect as it climbs up, exploding up the net. It's a very cool combo attack that I wish again we saw more of, but I really enjoyed what we saw. Now moving on to his Bankai, which we sadly do not get to see in the anime, so I'm going to put a massive spoiler warning here. Just saying, it also has the best call for Bankai. Modification of the Crimson Princess. Dissection at the doors of however the hell you pronounce that word. Once again, Viz called it opened red Princess Neo, but I like modification better because that is what the ability does. Like, tell me that is not the creepiest call because it point blank tells you what he can do. Not to mention the giant woman that appears behind him, showing us the reader what Benihime actually looks like. This sad woman has her eyes closed behind him, just wanting to destroy the Quincy in front of him. Side note, just saying, I was so glad to see Asukin get his ass handed to him. He was so overconfident about his abilities. Urahara is also able to restructure anything he wants using his Bankai, and on anything he wants. One of the first times we really get to see this is when he starts to deconstruct Asukin's arm. Urahara uses this ability on something, he can also bring it back 3 times as powerful. As seen in this fight when he reconstructs his arm, making himself more powerful. He is also able to restore his sight that Asukin had just taken away from him, leaving the Quincy quite shocked, with a rather cool stitching pattern like he is some kind of Frankenstein monster. As Urahara moves, these stitches follow him around, making sort of a path that we will see him use later on in this fight. Now, him fighting Asukin is a great matchup because Asukin's epithet D, the death dealing, meaning anything he strikes he kills on contact. With Benihime's power, Urahara can just reconstruct his body parts back to life. This would have been an amazing fight if it lasts more than 15 pages. But when you see that arm coming out of Asukin's chest, you know it's over. And it is Grimmjow who is confirmed to be alive and killed the Quincy. You see, Benihime was able to bring Grimmjow in. But not just that, it allowed him to merge with Asukin's body. Like, how epic of a Bankai is that? That pretty much wraps up the ranking for the Zanpakuto. I know that there are also 2 light novels, but I've never read them, so I have no clue what happened to them. Who do you guys think is the best Zanpakuto? Maybe if this video gets 500 views or more, I will review the Zanpakuto arc, which is amazing if you have not seen it. But that's all I have to say. I'm Mystic Sage, and that's it for me. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Be sure to subscribe, like, and do all the other cool stuff. Until then, I'll catch you later.